Cole. Thanks, Coach. How are you?
Good, Sal. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good.
Good.
After the game, Cole even said that when he was asked how teams are playing you guys differently, he said, they're forcing some things underneath. You guys have to have long drives, be patient. I'm wondering about Josh's growth in this area from when you started coaching him and, him being patient, him taking what's given him. He's talked about that in the past from just what you've seen and his growth from where he was his rookie year to now to be able to thrive in those situations.
Yeah, I think he's made improvements. I thought he played well yesterday. You like to hit some of these big plays when you got an opportunity to, but if they're taking them away, then he's got to make good decisions. And for the most part, I thought he did that yesterday.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Hey, Brian, can you hear me?
Yeah. Hey, Sal, how you doing?
What's going on? Oh, there it is. I got like a slide over the camera. I never know when it's on or not. But like you grew up here, you know the vibes of this city. Without looking past the Patriots, what would it mean to this city, to fans, to beat New England and take that crown atop the AFC East?
Yeah, I think that's a tough question right now where we're at. We just gotta, focus on doing a good job, with the things that we need to do for this week, which we're just kind of getting started in the introductory phases of it. I just know how important football in general is to this community, and we got to do a good job of trying to go out there and play well.
Gotcha. And then just to quickly follow up,
Sure.
We heard Josh last week say that if defenses are going to play that deep zone, he's got to take those shots underneath. He's got to make them come up.
Sure.
33 attempts within 10 yards of the line of scrimmage yesterday. Yeah. How do you feel like he executed that game plan and how viable you think it is moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, look, those are – to have those long drives, which, we've had the last couple of weeks, you have to play good, sound football. And we certainly moved the ball yesterday, and there's times where, we get down there inside the 35 and put ourselves in some tough spots on third and longs. But he did a good job of throwing checkdowns when he needed to. He utilized Cole. He utilized Steph on some underneath routes. For a guy that obviously likes to push the ball down the field, it was good to see him be able to go ahead and make the right decision and just move the ball and get it to the guys he needed to get it to.
Gotcha. Appreciate you, Brian.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey, Brian, John Scott.
Hey, John.
How does the addition of Zach into the running game change the way or enhance the way you can do things with the running game?
Well, Zach's a good young player. He's still getting his feet wet here, not having played a whole bunch. We just got to keep bringing him along. I'd say both in the run game and in the protection game. But he's a guy that, you saw in some of those checkdowns yesterday, and he sprung one of those ones there late in the fourth quarter for us. He's a big back. He needs to play big. He's been making improvements since he's been here, and hopefully we get consistency with him staying out there on the field.
I know we've talked about continuity on the offensive line for actually a couple of years now, with John potentially being inserted back in there. Is there a feeling that maybe you can start to gain that continuity, and what type of effect do you think that could have with that unit?
Yeah, I mean, we'll see where that goes with John. I know Sean just spoke about that. Look, John's a good football player for us. Wherever we need to play him, I'm sure he's more than anxious. We'll see how that shakes out.
And just what does he bring? I know we've discussed his mentality, but what
Sure.
can he bring, not only with the way he plays the game, but just overall, how could he change things up front?
Well, he's a tough guy that's a good communicator. He's smart. He's everything you want in a player, particularly at that position. So, we'll see how that goes.
Appreciate it, Brian. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hey, Brian, Mike Catalano.
Hey, Mike.
Hey, it happened to you guys. It seems to happen a lot in the league this year where it's an emphasis on formations and the calls are made.
Yeah.
Lining up. What are your players allowed to do? Are they allowed to look to the ref? And we hear about that. It's see if you're in the right spot. Are you lined up? Do you teach that? Is
Yeah.
it, because And is it sometimes they feel like they're in the right spot, but they're not covering up the guy on the outside?
Yeah, no, that was a tough one there. You know, we weren't lined up properly, and they made the call. And look, it starts with knowing where you're supposed to be, getting there. And unfortunately, we've had a couple of those where we've had touchdowns taken back. So we got to do a better job with that. That starts with me.
And in that moment when the guy's lined up, I mean, do you literally teach them to sort of get the okay from the ref? Is that what happens?
Yeah. There's constant communication from the guys on the perimeter of checking with the sideline judge there, and you know, if we just got to do a better job with that.
And what's it like in the film room when the guy has to look at that and see a touchdown that gets called back?
Yeah, you know, it's look, everybody's in this together, so we can all do a better job with that, and no one wants to see that happen to anybody. You know, it's a group effort, and we all need to do a better job.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
Hey, Brian. You know, John Brown was your guys' leading receiver last year. I mean, it's no secret, you know, you'd love to have him on the field, but I've been really interested to see how much Stephon Diggs has taken to him, and how appreciative of him and what he opens up for him. What do you guys lose when John Brown's not out there? Because it seems like, you know, the last couple weeks as opposed to the first 4 weeks when he was really healthy, it loses a dimension of your offense a little bit when he's not there.
Yeah, he's a good player for us. He's fast. He's got good quickness. He's just he's a good player. So anytime you're missing a good player, other guys have to step up. You know, Gabe, and give credit to Gabe. I know the production may not have been there, but you know, we put a lot on Gabe as a rookie. And some of the stuff that went on this past week, we had to switch around some personnel groupings kind of toward the end of the week, and we put a lot on Gabe in terms of him knowing, you know, really 4 spots for us. You know, hopefully we'll get John Brown back here, but it's good to have him out there.
And, you know, obviously going up against New England, you know, their staff over there are familiar with you, you know, Bill, obviously. What's that dynamic like when you go up against, you know, another team who's, you know, where you spent time? Is it any different? I mean, is it harder, or it's pretty much every week, same thing?
Yeah, and that's a good question. It's pretty much the same. You know, you've been around and you work with a lot of different guys on different staffs. You know, it's really not much different. You're doing the same thing. You're getting ready and preparing the same way. It's really the player's game.
Thanks, Brian.
Thank you.
Coach Dable, Mookie Hawkins, Waffle Sports 1080. How you doing today, sir?
Hey, Mook, how are you?
I'm good.
Good.
In that second half, it seemed like you pulled out that Red Raider playbook and, you know, got into a rhythm, mixing up the run and pass to move the ball to get in the scoring position. So how happy were you to see Tyler Bass grow up and deliver when called upon?
Yeah, we would have been extra points there. You know, again, we moved the ball. And then there's just certain things that, you know, you have a tough time overcoming down there. We put ourselves in, you know, 3rd and 14, 3rd and 18, 3rd and 15, all inside the 35. Some with penalties, some with, you know, negative play here or there. And we weren't having those execution problems, you know, from wherever we started till we got down there. So, but glad that Bass, you know, obviously was a difference maker for us. Which just would have been extra points.
Absolutely, Coach Shea. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
All right, dudes, that's all we got. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Have a good day.